Of the G8. He said that all of the countries involved had suffered from terrorism, and he said that they were all now united to confront and defeat terrorism. He called it an attack not just on the people of London, but an attack on civilised people everywhere. He said that he would not allow violence to stop the summit, and summed up by saying that we shall prevail and they shall not. Well, the Prime Minister, after making that statement with the leaders of the G8, then left for a short drive down to the helicopter that you're seeing on the screens at the moment. That helicopter is going to take Tony Blair from Gleneagles on day 2 of the G8 summit, where obviously he was planning to prepare for one of the most important summits of his political career, where he was hoping that this would be the time when he would end poverty in Africa. Instead, the dramatic turn of events in London this morning has changed his agenda completely. He's now leaving Gleneagles, something he never expected that he would have to do, leaving Gleneagles in the middle of the G8 summit to return to the capital, where there have been at least 4 terrorist attacks this morning in different sites. And we have confirmed injuries and fatalities here in London this morning. So those are the scenes now at Gleneagles as the Prime Minister prepares to leave for London.
Where is it? Can you see it, Nick? Because I clearly can't.
So we're watching Tony Blair's helicopter at Gleneagles, awaiting to take off and ferry him back to Downing Street, where he'll be straight into very high-level meetings with his the leaders of the anti-terrorist police, MI5, MI6. He'll want some answers to this. He'll want to know whether there have been intelligence failures. Sir Ian Blair, the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, his predecessor, both said such an attack was inevitable. And I am sure that Tony Blair will want to know whether there was any degree of complacency or anything at all that his security services could have done to stop this. But of course it is appallingly difficult to stop terrorist attacks. And there we go, Tony Blair, heading back from Gleneagles a lot earlier than he would have wished. This is a devastating political blow for Tony Blair after a devastating attack on the capital of the country he leads, coming as well, just 24 hours after he was enjoying one of the great moments of his premiership. Right, let's just remind you now of the awful events of this morning. Just 24 hours ago, this city was celebrating that stunning Olympic victory. It's now stunned, shocked and saddened by a coordinated and sustained wave of terror attacks on trains and on buses at around 9 a.m. this morning, the middle of the rush hour. 2 people have been confirmed dead, but that number will surely rise as the rescue operation continues. At least 150 people are known to be seriously injured. Al-Qaeda has said it's responsible.
There were at least 6 explosions. The Home Secretary has just confirmed, one of them on a bus packed with commuters. It, as you can see from those terrible pictures, was ripped apart like a tin can. Now, it's not known how many people have died. The fire services and the ambulance crews are now in a desperate race against time.
There were blasts on the underground between tube stations, and this lunchtime passengers are still being evacuated from them. Their injuries ranging from lacerations, burns, broken bones and the inhalation of smoke. All hospitals are on full alert and people are being told not to leave their homes. The Prime Minister said it was not only an attack on the capital, but an attack on the whole of Britain.
His way now to London, here from the G8 to speak directly to the people of London, who carry a message of solidarity with him. This morning I've been in contact with our Homeland Security folks. I instructed them to be in touch with local and state officials about the facts of what took place here in London. and to be extra vigilant as our folks start heading to work. You know, the contrast between what we've seen on the TV screens here, what's taking place in London and what's taking place here is incredibly vivid to me. On the one hand, you got people here who are working to alleviate poverty, to help rid the world of the pandemic of AIDS. They're working on ways to have a clean environment. And on the other hand, you got people killing innocent people. And the contrast couldn't be clearer between the intentions and the hearts of those of us who care deeply about human rights and human liberty, and those who kill, those who've got such evil in their heart that they will take the lives of innocent folks. This is the war on terror goes on. I was most impressed by the resolve of all the leaders in the room. Their resolve is as strong as my resolve, and that is we will not yield to these people. We will not yield to the terrorists. We will find them, we will bring them to justice, and at the same time we will spread an ideology of hope and compassion that will overwhelm their ideology of hate. Thank you very much.
You still say that the war is...
George W. Bush there at Glen Eagles, a man who knows all about terrorist attacks. He, of course, himself was president at the time of 9/11. Backing up what Tony Blair earlier said just before he left for London, the attack, not just on the people of London, an attack on people everywhere. The Queen has just issued her reaction to today's events in London. It says, the dreadful events in London this morning have deeply shocked us all. I know I speak for the whole nation in expressing my sympathy to all those affected and the relatives of the killed and injured. I have nothing but admiration, she goes on, for the emergency services as they go about their work.
It has just gone 1:30. At least 4 explosions have rocked central London in a major coordinated terrorist attack. Well, we'll of course have continuing coverage throughout the afternoon on ITV1 and the ITV News channel. This is the latest that we know. At least 10 people have reportedly been killed at King's Cross Underground Station. Passengers with blood pouring down their faces have been led to safety, but some, we know, are still trapped inside.
2 people have been confirmed dead at Aldgate Underground Station. Many more are critically injured. Eyewitnesses have reported seeing piles of bodies. The rescue operation is still ongoing.
Elsewhere in Woburn Place near Russell Square, an explosion ripped open the top of a double-decker bus, and there have been more casualties at Edgware Road Tube Station. That is the picture, of course, of the bus. The injured, we know, are being treated at the scene. There are reports of decapitated bodies.
Now, with a roundup of all today's shocking events in the capital, here's Damon Green.
In central London, just yards from the British Museum, a double-decker bus ripped apart by the force of an explosion. Just one of 4 confirmed blasts across the heart of the capital this morning, bringing reports of many dead and many more wounded. All emergency services and all hospital staff in London put on high alert. The Prime Minister emerging from the G8 Conference of World Leaders to condemn those who've brought death and confusion to London.
It's particularly barbaric that this has happened on a day when people are meeting to try to help the problems of poverty in Africa and the long-term problems of climate change and the environment. Just as it is reasonably clear that this is a terrorist attack or a series of terrorist attacks, it's also reasonably clear that it is designed and aimed to coincide with the opening of the G8.